Demonstrate how to use the TI-84 calculator to simulate rolling a 20-sided die, and then I will show you how to use Excel to create a frequency plot. So the first thing we'll do is simulate rolling the die. And to do this, I'm going to use the random integer feature on the calculator. So I press the math key, arrow to PROB, choose random int. Now, since we're going to simulate a 20-sided die, I'm going to start by putting a 1, then a comma, and then a 20. And what this will do is the random int feature on the calculator will select randomly. Technically, they're pseudo-random selection, but the calculator will select numbers, integers between 1 and 20. The next thing I can do is put another comma with the number of times I'd like to execute the simulation. And I'm going to do 25 repetitions. So this tells the calculator that we would like 25 randomly selected integers from the set 1 to 20. I'm also going to save these integers into a list. So I'll press STO key. Notice that the calculator puts an arrow. This means that the numbers coming out of random integer, the 25 numbers, will go into whatever location I specify, which in this case will have to be a list. I'm simply going to use list L1 by pressing the second function key and then the number 1. Notice the L1 above the 1. So the second function key, since I pressed that first, will mean that we're going to get the list L1 name put on the home screen. And there it is. Finally, press enter. Now we have a list of 25 randomly selected numbers, integers, between 1 and 20 in list L1. To view the list, I'm going to go to Stat and select Edit, and you can see those values are in L1. Now, one thing I forgot to do that I'm going to do now is sort these numbers. So I'm going to go back to the home screen by pressing second quit, and I'm going to select Stat, and I'm going to choose number 2, sort A. That stands for sort in ascending order from smallest to largest. And the list I want to sort is list L1. Now the calculator prints done on the home screen, letting us know that function's been executed. Go back to list L1. The next step is to go to Excel and enter these values into a list in Excel. And feel free to move forward in the video if you like while I'm doing. If you don't need, once you get the hang of what I'm doing. Whoops. Try that again. My cursor was in the wrong space. So let me come back to Excel. Okay, now I've entered all of those values from the calculator. Next thing I will do is create a new list here in column B. And what this list is going to consist of are the number of times each of the repeated numbers occurs in the list. And it's a little bit complicated, but basically what we're going to do is, since there's only one 1, I'm going to just put 1 there, but there are 2 3s, so I'm going to put 1 and 2, and there are 3 4s, so I'll put a 1, a 2, and a 3. So notice I'm numbering each one of the results that are repeated. And the reason I need to do this is because I'm going to use the scatter plot feature on the calculator. And to create a scatter plot, I need 2 lists. One with the horizontal values and one with the vertical values. Okay, now that I have all those values entered correctly, not quite correctly, what was I doing here? All right, one more time. All right, that looks correct. Now, I simply select or highlight those 2 lists. And in Excel, I'm going to go to Insert and just come over here and choose the basic scatter plot. And I'm going to just stretch this window out a little bit. Now that I can go up here now and edit this chart title and give it a new title. And that's just the title that came off the top of my head. So now I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I don't want to have these horizontal and vertical lines. So I just select, and notice the little dots along the left and the right sides indicate that those line segments are selected. I just press delete, and then I'll do the same thing for the vertical lines. Now, the frequency plot in this case, now Excel kind of guesses at what my axis value should be here. And what I want to do is modify this. So I'm going to select this horizontal axis. Okay. And I'm going to have to look around a little bit for where I can modify this axis. I think I might have to go up here, format selection. Okay, that's what I need. So in this box, I'm going to specify specifically what I want those values to be. So the possible range of values for my simulation is 1 to 20. And I want to put a number at every possible value in that set of possibilities from 1 to 20. So I'm going to make the major unit a 1. I don't think this really matters too much. I'm looking down here at the preview of my axis, and what I'm seeing is that it is what I'm going for. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this box now. Now for this type of a frequency plot, we don't need a y-axis, so I'm actually going to select the vertical axis and just delete it. Okay, this is starting to look more like a frequency plot. And again, chapter 1 of the textbook is where these frequency plots are explained. And the other thing I'm going to do is kind of squish this a little bit to make it look more like the frequency plots again that we might see in the book. Okay, that looks pretty good. And final thing is, now, incidentally, these dots as markers, they're fine. They aren't generally, or the way our textbook explains frequency plots is to put an X for each time the number is represented in the plot. So just to make sure everybody understands here, we rolled there, or the simulation resulted in four or three fours. So there are three dots above the four, and there were no 11s or 12s, so there are no dots and so forth. And the textbook uses X's, and we can actually make this history or this frequency plot look like the ones in the book by first selecting the dots, and I believe they're called markers, and then again go to Format Selection and choose. So I chose the emptying paint bucket, went to marker, and am I in the right place? Marker options, and we're going to use a built-in marker, and we'll use the X's. And these X's are a little bit small, I think, so I'll increase their size. Okay. And let's see. They're still blue, and that doesn't really bother me, but I think we can correct this as well by going to Fill and choosing Color, and I'm just going to make those black. And I believe if I close this now, ooh, somehow they changed from X's to squares. So things happen, as they say. So let me try this again. Back to marker. Oh, I understand what I'm doing wrong. All right, so no fill. And the border, I think, is what I want to change. Actually, let me try this. Will that work? Yes, okay. So sometimes with Excel, I have to experiment a little bit to make sure that I'm doing everything, or I'm getting what I want. And the nice thing is Excel does give a preview. So there's a frequency plot. And now this can be cut and paste. You can just simply select it and go to Edit, Copy, and then go to many different options here. I mean, I believe you can paste this into an Adobe Acrobat PDF document, if I'm not mistaken. You can paste this into a PowerPoint presentation. You can paste this into a Word document. So there's a lot of different ways that you can paste this in and out. And just as a trick, now I'm using a Macintosh, and for Windows machines, this will probably be different. But the other thing I can do, and I use this trick sometimes, if I'm having trouble getting the formatting to work, in other words, getting the cut and paste to work, one of the things that I use is a screenshot. And so I'll just, on a Macintosh, the keyboard's, the key sequence you need to press is the Command key, the Shift key, and the number 4. And you press all of those keys at the same time. And notice then my cursor changes to a crosshair. And then I can come up here and carefully select the image. And now my computer has just taken a snapshot, and that image is on my desktop of my computer. So then I can insert the frequency plot as a image. So I hope you find this helpful, and please check out some of my other videos.